the male perspective, right? And so I'm so excited to be doing this today. This is like just it's gonna be so much fun because I think that sometimes when we go out on dates, people want to say like, hey, you could have upped your game. We don't really say it, right? But I think what's wonderful about what you're doing is that we're kind of giving a little behind the scenes peek on how to have great style and how men can totally level up their game, right?
Yeah, I know. We always see the movie. People have a makeover, and suddenly they now are the center of the everybody's.
Oh, it makes such a difference, and it was funny because they were talking about how even when they meet up for a date and the person's coming into the restaurant or the cafe, we're all watching. We're all secretly watching, even though we pretend we're not. We're all watching to see how's that guy walk in, how does the lady walk in, do they have a confident gait, right? It's fascinating, and I love what I do. But anyways, I didn't mean to, I'm just let me know when you guys want to start and I'm ready to
All
start.
right. I think we got everybody. Melissa, can you hear as well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, welcome. This is our session of Finding Love in Style. I'm Anya Chen, founder and CEO of Taelor, and we are a menswear rental subscription powered by professional stylists and also AI. So a lot of people are dressing up for their date night, and today, so we want to have the both of Matchmaker and also have our stylist. What an amazing team force together to teach people on how would you look great for your dates and score your favorite date nights. So I will do a self-introduction. We'll get into Cassindy and Melissa to do a self-intro, and from there we'll each ask each other questions. All right. I'm Anya. Before starting the company Taelor, I have 15 years in big tech company, ran their social and e-commerce team. Most recent at Meta, where I help build out Instagram shopping, Facebook shopping. So if you accidentally buy a lot of things on your social media, sorry, that was my fault. And I was at eBay before as a head of product for their new business in the US and new markets internationally in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. And was at Target, help them to build out Silicon Valley office, and also helping McDonald's build out their food delivery business globally and on the product side. So today we're excited to have our professional stylist and Cassindy. So maybe we'll have Cassindy to do a quick intro of yourself.
Okay, great. Anya, thank you. I'm so excited. And Melissa, I love all your style tips. And Anya, you're just such an inspirational CEO, and I love what you do because I think it's so important. So I'm a matchmaker. I'm a matchmaker that focuses on, I would say more professional, kind of high end. And I love what I do because I feel like the smartest people have little blind spots. So I think that Taelor is wonderful because it can really help us level up our dating game. I'm a former Goldman Sachs banker. I do what I love doing, which is bringing really good people together. I've been featured on Business Insider recently, and also been on the Asian Boss Girl Living Well with Janet podcast, and I've also spoken at the Harvard Club of New York. So I'm excited just to share ideas, kind of what I'm seeing with my clients, and also to, we can talk about how Taelor and their services can really make such a difference when you're out there dating.
Wonderful, thank you. And we'll have Melissa do a quick intro of yourself.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I am the lead stylist here at Taelor. I've been styling men for a little over 13 years now. When I first started styling men at Stitch Fix and started the men's division over there, which ultimately led me to my passion for styling men. And I just love sharing any tips and tricks that I have to make them feel their best selves. So very excited to be here.
All right, I will start asking Cassindy a few questions, and from there we'll have Cassindy to ask Melissa a few questions and also ask me a few questions. All right, Cassindy, tell us a little bit more about some common mistake people make in datings, and also what are the few golden tips that you usually give to your single guys?
Sure, of course. So I feel that some good advice makes such a difference in dating. It really levels up your dating game. So what a lot of guys don't necessarily realize is that when they're coming into their date, whether it's a coffee date or drinks, the woman is secretly watching, and vice versa, to see what they're looking, what's their posture, what's their attitude, do they have any sense of style or not, or are they just wearing a bunch of like sports gear with logos on it? It's really important how that first impression works. And I think people forget about how important it is, and they think, oh, it doesn't matter, but it really does. We talk about people being very visual, right? Making judgments based upon looks and posture. It's so important. And I think having a sense of style will really make you stand out on a date.
Since you mentioned about the sense of style, maybe Melissa can chime in, talk about what are the common styling mistake people make then during the date nights.
There's so many.
Yeah, definitely. So I have, let me unmute on.
Zoom. So definitely I have 3 top mistakes that men usually make. The number one is overdressing or underdressing. So if you're going out to like a dinner at a 5-star restaurant, you don't want to be wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Same thing as like if you're going to like the Yard House, you don't want to be wearing a suit and tie. So just make sure you Yelp the restaurant you're going out to before. Take a look at some of the pictures that some of the other people have posted of the destination, or you can even call the restaurant and ask if they have any things that they recommend on you wearing, certain dress codes. Also wearing clothes that don't fit. You want to make sure that the clothes fit you perfectly. You don't want to wear anything too baggy or too tight. You just want to wear things that are just right and that you're going to feel comfortable in. Also just neglecting your personal style. You want to be yourself. You don't want to put on a show, especially if you're not used to wearing a suit every single day. Don't wear a suit on your first date because you're just going to be so uncomfortable, and you're going to have your date thinking like, hey, he's wearing a suit all the time, when actually that's not you. You want your personality to shine. So just wearing those things that you feel comfortable in.
Melissa, I remember you gave a tip before. You say, how do you know it's too tight? Because you can actually see if there's a small space in bottoms, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about how to tell if it's too tight?
Oh yeah, you don't want, when you wear a button up, you don't want those buttons to be expanding or contracting, like having too much space. You want them to be just right. So always look at those buttons. Take a second, look at yourself in the mirror and see what those buttons look like. If they're not in line, that means there's something wrong.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that. And also, what happens is if you're not comfortable, you know it because you're wondering, and that comes out in your style on a date too, is that I'd almost rather people just know that they're comfortable. Otherwise, it's even though you might be keeping it together, you might not have the gaps, but you're feeling a little uncomfortable. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, and I remember Melissa gave a tip before saying that if she can only give one tip, she say, look at the mirror of yourself, because most people, it's not because you don't have fashion sense, it's you don't look at the mirror before you go out the door. So if you actually look at yourself, you realize it seems doesn't make sense. And so all you need to do is just make sure you also look at the mirror of yourself. Okay, well, maybe have a Cassindy to ask Melissa a few questions about the styling for the date nights.
Sure. Okay, so Melissa, I would love to know, what, we already talked about common style mistakes. We talked about that. Are there any specific items or looks that you think are universally appealing? Like, for example, I would say that I always look at the watch and the shoes. And that's, and the watch doesn't have to be the most expensive, but it should have a little style, and also the shoes should be clean. That's a huge one. But I'm curious, can you share some specific items or looks that you think are great?
Yeah, I definitely agree. The watch is definitely an insight into the person. So like you said, it doesn't have to be so expensive, just as long as it's neat and clean and like the band isn't falling apart. Definitely women do definitely look at the watches.
Yes.
And then also just like those crisp and classic basics, just having a nice crisp white shirt in your wardrobe that just looks good, doesn't have stains. And then you can wear that with anything, especially a quality pair of jeans that fit you right. Doesn't have to be the skinny jean, like a nice straight dark wash jean, and then a nice structured blazer will take you anywhere, because you can even wear a t-shirt underneath a blazer if you want to be more relaxed. So just having those 3 basics is going to take you a long way.
That's a huge classic. I love that.
And And Cassindy, then since we are on about the dating time, then how about for I know sometimes the fashion is a conversation starter, right? People are like, oh, that's interesting, and you have started a conversation. Do you have usually some tips on conversation starter? And then I will also, after you answer, have Melissa to talk about how to get more of interesting looks, so then they can be a conversation. Cassindy.
So conversation starters are so important, right? Because on a first date, people always ask the same questions, or what do you do? And it's so boring. You really want to make that impression. So your clothes really are important that kind of help you stand out. But I always call it what about? So you want try to have something that's a little bit of a what about. Like, for example, maybe you have a necklace that's something that's interesting there, or maybe you have a logo of something. A what if is always really helpful. I think that's a great thing. Conversation starters, sometimes they can be, just veer away from the usual, but you can also say make it very positive, like what made you laugh this week, or here's a fun one that I heard the other day. How long have you known your dentist? Which is so random, but it will make your date go, what? And it's a little different. It's more personal, right? It's very personal.
Great. How about Melissa? What's your conversation starter? So in terms of related to outfits.
Oh, yeah, definitely the prints, if you wear on a button up, are definitely conversation starters, especially like those floral prints, or like a fun conversational print. That will really let your personality shine, especially even if it's just a small print like a plaid. The colors that you wear will let your date know if you're outgoing or if you're more conservative. So yeah, definitely those prints. They're super fun.
I was going to add in one little tip to go with the amazing outfits that Taylor puts out and Melissa, sets up and curates. Think about it this way. It's a whole package, right? You're looking good, you're confident, and make sure posture is huge, and also if you're wearing great clothes, you will feel proud about yourself. When Anya says, when you leave the door, take a look at yourself. Take a look at yourself in your great clothes and go, I'm all that in a bag of chips, right? You have to have that confidence, right? Because everybody loves that. But then that confidence has to carry through. You've got this great outfit now, but also how you approach your date. So one thing that's always really helpful is when you do meet your date, eye contact. Just hold the eye contact for almost like half a second longer than you normally would. It really helps kind of create that connection. So it all fits in together. Great outfit, confidence, and a little bit of extra eye contact, because I think it makes your date feel validated. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a great example. That's actually people say feel confident, and that's actually why I started a company when I was at eBay as a leading the large technology teams. I was actually only minorities on the team as a head of product. So being a woman and came from the more growth and marketing data scientist background, and I actually feel a little bit imposter syndrome. So I feel like, oh, at least I need to look great and feel like she's ready. And even though I'm like freaking out and behind, but I feel like she's ready. So I was looking for some options, and I see some subscription boxes, which is great that they are style you. But when you receive the box, you have to buy from every single shipment. And I didn't want to own that much stuff. I'm not great in tidying up. I still have junk at homes. And I also don't know what looks great, even though I receive it. I'm not ready to make a commitment or buy right away. And then so I will start trying some rental subscription companies. It's great that you can rent like company in a woman's space, like Rent the Runway, like Newlies, and a lot of options out there. And I try. It's great that I don't have to buy it. I can wear different things and discover different style. But I have to go through the styles of hours through thousands of style. And I realized I don't like that. I just want to get ready for my dates or for my work. For me, it's more of a mean for something that I care even more. So I realize, is it an option for people who aren't that not into fashion but can still look presentable and achieve their dreams? And that's why Taylor was born. We look at options on who are the people who don't like shopping and maybe who don't like laundry, but they want to look great for date nights, for work. And turn out that most of them are guys. So then turn out that we became a menswear rental subscription business.
Anya, I love what you do. I think it's fantastic. It's so
Cassindy, I
cool.
think you're mute on Zoom.
I can't go unmute because otherwise I'm gonna get double echo.
Got it, got it.
So I love your message, Anya. I think it's, imposter syndrome as an Asian American entrepreneur, whether you're female or male, we have that a lot. And I think it's so important to have that confidence. And also what Taylor does and saves you so much time, right? You now have the expertise of curated clothing, and you save that time so you can go out feeling great. And I think that's really, really special. And, it's funny because I actually been launching this campaign, and in the middle of getting out, I call it HAMS, Hot Asian Men, because I think that, these are my brothers, right? And there are, it's an opportunity. It is the dating trifecta, right? They're hot, they're family oriented, financially sound. I want the world to realize it. And I did a survey, and it showed that actually a lot more women are good with dating Asian men. They just don't see them enough, right? So I think with Taylor, we can help them be seen, right? They've got great clothing, they're looking good, and people know, ooh, smoking, who is that guy, right? So.
Yeah, Melissa, I'm curious about like for what's trending nowadays. I know we want to make sure at least it's clean, but if we want even more up the game, like what's coming this summers and where you see a lot of people are getting into the different type of style.
Yeah. So what's really trending this spring and summer are colors. So guys are getting a little bit more bold and wearing colors that they actually wouldn't normally wear. And that's great when you sign up for Taylor, because here as stylists, we love to send the most newest trends, what's going to make you actually look and feel the best. And then you get to wear them and then get those compliments and feel good about yourself, and then send the clothes right on back to us. Yeah, so you get to try those bold prints, those different colors that you wouldn't normally want to buy yourself, and just try it out and see how you feel in it and make yourself feel really good. And then, yeah, send it on back to us. And yeah, we do all the laundry for you, so you don't have to spend any of your time worrying about dirty clothes. And yeah, you just feel
Even take care of the laundry part too. That's genius. I mean, that's great. I mean, I'm thinking a lot of my clients are going to love this. And I think their dates are also going to thank you, because they're like, wow, these guys are looking good. Maybe I will give them more of a chance,
Melissa, since you said colors, is there any particular color? I also heard that matching outfit is back on trend. So we used to say if you have a color on top, you don't have it in the bottom, make sure it's contrasts. In fact, this year is actually matching outfit. So tell us a little bit more about the color.
Yeah. Coral. Coral is a huge color for the new spring season and going forward. So that's usually a color that men don't have in their closet, but Taylor has a lot of. So come to us, get your coral on. Also purple. Purple and it's a gorgeous color on, yeah, exactly. Purple is a gorgeous color on everyone. So that is another one. And like Anya said, those sets are a huge hit, especially for summer. Those short sets with the short sleeve button ups. Those are a huge trend for summer. And Taylor has some great floral prints, some great solids for those that aren't as risky as others. So yeah, those are the big trends for spring and summer.
Yeah, and I noticed that we did some of the addition of denim this year too, and also I think the school vibe, it feel more of like back to 80s and school. So yeah, so look out for those things. And I know because also Barbie and now the pink is actually also back in trend. So guys, not too afraid any summer and might want to get a color shorts. Like if you're afraid of top, and the shorts will be perfect for colors too. Cassindy, you have something to say?
Love coral, but in kind of small doses on men. How do you position that? Do you do, let's just say, with a coral accent on, with let's just say jeans or something? I'm just kind of curious how you put that together.
Oh,
And
yeah.
colors, and purple, of course. I mean, purple is just very regal, right? Obviously.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. To incorporate coral, you can even incorporate it in small prints. So we have some like floral prints that have a little bit of like a pop of color with them. So yeah, it doesn't have to be a total coral outfit, but just having that small pop of color and yeah, getting those compliments, especially like, hey, where'd you get that from?
Yeah, that's huge because I think again with the study that we did a survey about, women across the US and their dating preferences. And it was really interesting about with men, sometimes it's being noticed, right? And I think that makes such a difference. And so, what we call the finance bro outfit is so out these days. We just don't want that. Like, if a woman's on a date, she sees yet another bland outfit, it's just going to be no, right? Whereas I think with the Taylor outfit, it's much more put together and curated. And I think it'll definitely stand out because I think it's almost like a secret weapon to help level up dating is to look really good on your date. Because not enough men do it.
Yeah, Cassindy, since you guys talk about the locations, can you tell us a little bit more about picking date night locations? Like what's usually your advice and how would you make sure your guy prepare for the occasion? And then maybe from there, Melissa can talk a little bit about kind of different outfit for different type of locations. Cassindy.
Got it. So I think date ideas are huge, something a little different. So actually I did on my website, Ancient Wisdom Modern Love, AWMLove.com, I actually have, I think 36 cities and I have 5 date ideas per city. And what I did was I want to put on Reddit and I polled Reddit readers get their favorite date ideas. But it is important because you obviously want a date location where you can be seen and heard, right? So not a movie theater, obviously, right? Seen and heard. And we also want something outdoors because I think when people are outdoors, generally, they just feel a little happier too. So, generally my preferences are, a dating location where you can be seen and heard. So it doesn't have to be the hottest, hippest bar. And also sometimes something that's outdoors, whether it's, kayaking or walking by the park, or let's just say down in Palo Alto, walking by the dish. Things like that are a little bit more personal because the whole point is to make a connection. Just like your outfits are here to make a difference, it's also about making an impression when you're talking to people. And I think that's so important because we just don't want to, if we're all tired of swiping, then let's make those connections count and then save time and find your boo and we're done,
So the first date, the rock band concert isn't a good option. Sounds like it. Huh?
Nope. Coachella and not the scene, outside lands. Nope. I really do think something a little more personal. Even as simple, if you're out of time, even as simple as just getting like an ice cream cone. Like and your date will know probably in the first 10 minutes whether there's potential for more or not. Right? It's just keep it simple because sometimes you don't necessarily want to get stuck on a date for 2 hours, right? If you don't like them. So I always say keep it really short in the beginning. You can always leave the other side wanting more. Oh my gosh, I had a great time, and then do it later.
Got it. How about Melissa? How about for outdoor outfits and also those ice cream outfits? Any recommendations?
Yeah, one of our viewers said mini golf is a good choice. And I think that's a great first date. Yeah, you get to have fun. And with your clothing, you want to have fun as well and let your personality shine. Especially those outdoor dates, but you want to stay comfortable. So what I recommend is just a t-shirt, and even like a fun graphic t-shirt, like Taylor has a fun like pickleball t-shirt that we have. It's one of my favorites to send out to customers, and just throwing on like a nice jean jacket, and then like a nice pair of chinos or dark wash jeans to also go along with that would be great. And a pair of white sneakers, but make sure that your sneakers are clean. No girl likes to look at dirty white sneakers. And then it also shows them that you put the extra effort in to look good. You took some time to clean your shoes, to look nice for them.
And the fact that Taylor gives you clean clothes, at least your clothes are going to be clean. Everybody will notice like a spot on a shirt or a stain, like absolutely big no.
Yeah, and I know that I see stylists many times they recommend those full-way stretch clothes. Or the clothes that it looks like a short, but it's actually like feel a little bit more like really stretchable. Those will tend to be our customers' favorite. I know we always got requests by those things, and also people love those breathable, like some like coffee ground made materials that are super breathable, or like organic made materials, plant-based materials, or like really high technology-based material that so breathable will tend to be a favorite, like really loved by our customers. Yeah. So Melissa, do you have some questions for Cassindy from stylist point of view when coming to date nights?
Yeah. So I know a big question of for men is, how do you just feel comfortable? Like, how do you go in a date to be prepared and just ready to go?
Okay, so it's not just the outfit, obviously, but also the attitude. And I think it's really important not to psych yourself out. And it's important to go in it thinking, my date wants to meet me. My date is here to see me. And I think it's a mindset, because if you're going there saying that, oh, it's gonna bomb or whatever, then you're just gonna walk with a hunch shoulder, right? And how unfortunate is that to not match your attitude, with this great outfit, right? And I think that attitude is so important. So important. That's actually the number one thing. And it's surprising how it sounds so easy, yet it isn't. And so I think it's a mindset, right? Because again, what you put out influences what you attract back, right? If you're a slob, you're not going to attract back, right? If you are unconfident, you're not going to attract back. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, the same thing. I'm not stylist person, but I'm a career coach for the last 10 years. And I always tell people, like, when you go on the job interviews, you are also interviewing the other side. And then I will usually give people one tip. In psychology, called pick and rules. Pick and rule means that when you watch a Korean drama, you actually don't remember anything. You only remember the ending or the peak times. So if its ending is horrible, you think the whole show is horrible. If the ending is great, you think the whole show is great. In fact, people are not rational. So trying to end something with really positive no. So when I tell people go on interview, people usually ask you, do you have any question for me? So then we usually, if people say, oh, why your stock price sucks, then you're screwed. Yes, you might, if you do really curious about that, you can ask that, but it'll be early on. But usually ask something make people feel positive. For example, you ask, hey, you can work anywhere. Why are you working here? And people will start saying, you know what? Because I got 5 promotions and the people's here is nice, the lunch is free, and then they feel great about themselves. But then they will take the positive feeling with them when they leave the meeting room. And I think Cindy probably can apply for date night too. Like, how do you get a happy ending in the end? Make people feel like, oh, you are great. You are a great day. So, I usually do. And when after a negotiation with meetings, I will say, hey, you are great negotiators and you really did do a great job. Or even after my manager pitched something in the end, I will pat on, hey, great job. You did a great job. It's just one tiny thing. You will make people feel great, and it's actually reflect the feeling on your dates. How about Cassindy? Any feeling how like make the connections better and chemistry better during the dates?
Well, I already talked about eye contact, right? And I completely agree with you about the positivity, because I think that we have to realize that sometimes when you're on the dating scene, it's not that easy. People are exhausted, right? People are exhausted with the online dating apps. There's a reason why matchmakers are here, because sometimes people get really tired, right? And so it's really important to give yourself grace, to refresh yourself, and always go into each date with a fresh approach. Leading with positivity is important. Think about also that your date on the other side may be also exhausted with swiping and things like that. So you basically, you give grace and you just give compliments, because I think that it's also a gift that you give to people too. And when you come in with that approach, then I think you also become very, very attractive. And we don't realize, in a way, the more we give, the more we get. I think that's really important to think about it from that mindset. I tell that to all my clients, and you can just see it makes a difference, right? Because they're going up versus going down.
Wonderful. How about Melissa? Then, I know there's a lot of color psychology in fashions, like what make people have certain impressions, and can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So especially in fashion, colors are what make people feel good and especially give off those first impressions. So like if a man wears a black button up on his first date, his date is going to make him think that he's looking classic or luxurious or chic. While if he wears red, it's passion, it's luck, it's boldness. So yeah, definitely the colors that you choose to wear on a first date describe a lot about you.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I also like outside of color, I also seen Melissa's tips before on like 1/3 rule. You want to make sure your top looks more 1/3 and then not like a 50-50, so you looks a little bit taller. Like some guys want to look taller. And those were really great tips for and for women too, you know, then like 1/3 on the top, so then your leg looks a little bit longer.
That is so true. Melissa, you were genius. This is great. And Anya, putting Taylor together is like a love story in itself about, sharing back with our community. I love this. I think it's fantastic.
Great. Cassindy, I have a question. I'm curious about the secret for Matchmaker. Like, how do you know who and who can match together?
Oh gosh, that's $1 million question. I find there's a lot of people. I love matchmaking, and I love doing this. Forget banking, Goldman Sachs, Dubai, right? But it's fascinating how people that I might think are a perfect match. It also depends. Are they in the right mood that day? I have great people sometimes who just pass through the night, and I realize that it's a combination. It's not just compatibility, but also receptivity. Are they receptive to meeting this person at this time? And if they're in a bad mood, then it's not going to work. So as a matchmaker, I really work to keep my clients happy, because that way when they're out dating, they're going to be much more attractive and they're going to attract better quality people. So it is a combination. It's, but yes, obviously when I match people, there are certain things that you kind of get a general sense of their vibe. And I prefer to work with people who are happy and kind. They may be a little hurt by something, that's okay. But I do want them to have underlying kindness, because it makes me happy too. So then I go the mile for my clients, right?
Cool. I love that you talk about the open-minded, because one thing we see a lot here in Taylor is a lot of guys. I mean, you know what? I don't wear red and green and orange and yellows, and the only thing I wear is blue. And then one day, Melissa say, "Hey, you know what? How about I give you a bonus item for try this green?" And the guy said, "Oh my God, this is great! I want to buy 3 out of them." So it happens all the time. Maybe Melissa can talk about like how you see the journey of people, because they are being open-minded. Now they discover fashion horizon, which is kind of similar concept for consumers. Like now they're open-minded, so then they have the world is their voices.
Yeah, exactly. I love sending just surprise pieces to my customers, especially like those bold prints that they might not have worn before. And they fill out a style quiz, so I get to know kind of their personality. So if I see that they're funny, or they like to watch late night, or they go to comedy clubs, I know I can send them those fun prints. We have one that's a Dalmatian print that's super fun, and we'll just and their date will be like, "Oh, that's so cute. Like, do you like dogs?" Like, it's definitely like the conversation starter. And yeah, just sending those pieces that they normally wouldn't try themselves, and then they give me feedback and say, "Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this. This was like one of my favorite shirts. I got so many compliments from that. It made me feel so good." Yeah, it just makes my day and makes it all worthwhile.
That is really special, because it leads into, again, with making first impressions on dates. It's also kind of knowing your own brand, right? Leaning into your own personal brand and what matters to you. And I think that having a great palette from Taylor is great. And then on top of that, now they can feel confident to show we love dogs, or I love purple, or I've got a little bit of style underneath. This is great, because it kind of gives you a foundation to build off of, right?
Yeah, wonderful. Melissa, since you talk about conversational print, I don't think everybody understand what is it. Maybe you can share a little bit about what's conversational print.
They're just, it could be a small graphic print. Like I said, we have some Dalmatians, we have some even floral, it can be a conversational print. Yeah, anything that has just a little bit of flair to it. We also do have like abstract prints, which is like stripes or just like fun pops of color in it as well. However you want to let your personality shine, we have it, and you can, we have a way where you can heart all of your favorite styles that you'd like to add to your wish list, and that will give your stylist a little bit more insight into exactly how far you want to be pushed, or how far we can sort of take you and on your style journey.
Well, it's a great way. It's a great way for people to test things out, right? You know, in marketing, they say A/B testing, right? And so a guy can test out how this Dalmatian print worked in this last, week, and then now maybe I'll try a little purple, right? And see, oh wow, this is doing really, really well. I'm getting a lot of impressions back, or something like that. I love it because this way you don't have to spend all this money buying so many outfits that work or don't work. Now you can use Taelor to your advantage and really kind of try out different variations. Even with online profiles, a lot of my clients, I'll do 2 versions, right? We'll see which ones work. And in a way with Taelor, you can do the same thing. You can do bold, flamboyant, gem versus, more kind of, academic, esoteric, right? You can do both, right? And you now have the outfit from Taelor to do both versions. That's kind of cool. I like that.
It's interesting you mentioned about profile, because we got so many customers, they want to look great for their date night profile. So Cassindy, what's your suggestion for profile? I know like some people like to put on their 6 packs and how, like tell us more about the profile pictures.
Okay, no pictures in cars. Absolutely not. Like, no. So there's a few things, and actually Hinge also talked about that too, because which ones work. And for men, I think there's 3 big tips. Okay, so one is looking straight, right? Because you project confidence, look straight at the camera. 2, a smile with no teeth. I don't know why. Okay, for women, you get much more traction with smiles with teeth, and for women, it's actually looking away. Okay, but for men, it's no teeth, it's looking straight, and definitely no pictures with other people that could be construed as a significant other. Even if it's your sister, even if it's your, just don't. Because when people are swiping and looking, they just don't know, right? Even though it could be like your sister, just don't. So those are 3 tips. Another one is, well, there's more. Hinge has more about being outdoors, right? Outdoor pictures for men always tend to do better.
Great. How about Melissa?
The woman, but these are for the men.
Got it. How about Melissa? What were the tip for profile pictures for outfit?
Yeah, nothing too busy. You don't want to be looking at the t-shirt. You want to be looking at the face. So solid colors are definitely great for profile pictures. And yeah, just looking clean. Make sure your grooming is great. Like your hair is done. Your facial hair is groomed really well. And then also just making sure like your face looks great. You're keeping up with your skincare. Yeah, just making sure that you look polished and clean.
Wonderful. Cassindy, we are at almost the end of the times. And so any question I didn't ask you and that you think will be really important for people who go out for date nights or date?
Well, I think the most important thing is to psych yourself in a positive manner when you go out. Just go, I'm going to have fun tonight, right? Again, it's always attitude, because attitude leads into all these things, right? And, but also, I like your tip, Anya, about looking at yourself before you leave, right? Just make sure everything's kind of all put together, and don't overthink it. I think quite often we overthink things and we get into our own minds, especially intelligent people. Don't overthink it. Just go out with the attitude, I'm just going to go and have fun. Because if you don't go out with that, it doesn't matter, right? If you had a great outfit and everything, if you're thinking, oh, it's just a waste of my time, just don't. If that's the case, then don't go out at all, right? Because it's not good to waste your time, because then it makes you unhappy for the next date. So really important just to come at it with a great approach, and just know that your date wants to meet you too. And that's the mindset that's so important. I tell all my clients this.
Wonderful. How about Melissa? So what are the tips that I didn't ask you, but you think is important for styling for dates?
Yeah. I, I agree. Just bring your best self. Be yourself. Dress like yourself. Don't dress like somebody else. And you're gonna feel so comfortable. Like first dates are already so uncomfortable. You're nervous. You're excited. Everything's going on in your head. Don't let your style just be somebody else. You want to bring you to the date. So yeah, as long as you feel comfortable in what you're wearing, you feel comfortable in yourself, that you're gonna get that second date. Because you're just gonna feel so good. But yeah, always feel like yourself.
Yeah, and I often see people like in career coach, I see people that things are usually there when you are not looking. Take Taylor for example, 2 years ago when we start first time doing a fundraising for the business, I approached another founder and I was trying to ask the guy, say, hey, introduce your investor to us. But then in the conversation, he does AI powered security camera, and I find it fascinating. So I asked a lot. I was just genuinely curious. I was like, wow, then how do you do that? What kind of clients you are? And after that was just want to help him. I said, hey, I know people in Nigeria. When I was working for Facebook, there were people there that can potentially help you. I was living in Chicago before. That I know the police stations, people there. Let me connect you. So then he got a lot of clients. And then in a few weeks, he circled back to me. Anya, by the way, why did you reach out to me? Was it something that you were trying to ask me for? I said, I forgot I was trying to reach out and trying to ask you for potential investor lead. And then he connect us with his investor, which is the early investor of Lyft and Instacart. And then in half an hour, we got $1 million. So many times it's the opportunities there when you are not looking. So relax a little bit. You're just going to have a fun and curious and intelligent conversation, make a friend, make a connections. And if you're overthinking, it will be a lot harder. Actually, the opportunity is right around the corner. So
Your story is. Love your styling tips. I think it's so important because again, it all comes together. It's attitude, right? It's also looking great in your tailored outfit, right? And then just kind of just going out there and doing it. And that's where the magic happens. It really, really, I love what you do. I love it.
Great. Thank you. Before we go, Cassindy, can you tell us a little bit more about your matchmaking service? What do people usually expect?
Absolutely. So I bring in a lot of love. Me and my team, they're wonderful. You can find me at Ancient Wisdom Modern Love or www.awmlove.com. And we really work hard to make our clients feel good so that when they date, they're dating their best. I also do a lot of events. I've done events at the Harvard Club of New York. I've done events. I'm doing 2 in Los Angeles this month. So I spent a lot of time in LA, Bay Area, and New York. So let me know, and just you guys can, your viewers can come to my events for free.
Great. How about for Melissa? Can you tell us a bit more about how Taelor works?
Yeah, so we're a clothing rental company for men. So you sign up, you take a style quiz, you let us know a little bit more about you, what styles you'd like to see in your shipments. So you can either get 1 shipment a month of 5 items each, or 2 shipments a month of 5 items each, so a total of 10. And we stylist and AI put it together for you, and we'll ship it to your door. You get to wear them. If you have 2 shipments a month, our customers usually keep their shipments for 1 to 2 weeks. You wear it all out, you get all those compliments, you feel good, you send it all back to us, and don't worry about washing anything, because like I said, we do the laundry for you, so that's one less thing that you have to do. So
I think it's just great. It's easy. It's like mom's in a box already put everything together. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. It's one less thing that you have to think about. And even if you go on vacation, you don't have to worry about bringing dirty clothes back with you. You give it back to the hotel. They'll send your returns back to us. And that's less for you to do when you get back home. But yeah, you sign up, you get match with a stylist, and you can even have a consultation call with your stylist. You can meet with your stylist one-on-one. They get to know more about you that way. They can answer any questions that you might have about our service. And yeah, and they get to know more about you. They see you, they see your personality, they see everything about you, and they'll send you a shipment, and yeah, you get to wear them and get all the compliments.
Wonderful. Yeah. And then so for everyone who are interested, feel free to go on taelor.style. That's TAELOR.STYLE, TAELOR.STYLE. And then if you use Cassindy's code, which is CASSINDY, you will get first month's 25% off. So with about $50, now you are ready to with your stylist to style you and ready for your day night. Use Cassindy's code CASSINDY to get 25% off for the first month. So we have over 300 different brands and very popular, amazing brands, and also the emerging brand from all over the world, from Italy, Netherlands, Japan, and Korea. And so try it out, and we look forward to style you. All right, thank you, Cassindy, and thanks, Melissa. This is an amazing show, and we look forward to see you guys next time and talk more about styling and matchmaking.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye. Good luck at your dates.
Thanks, Melissa.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, sorry about that. I couldn't, so what happens is with my